Moving on to general items. You don't have to leave now, Mr. Starmer. Item number 12. The Wild East connection to city water. Diana Langley, Public Works Director. Diana.
Good evening. The Wildwood East subdivision is located on the north side of Franklin Road, west of George Washington Boulevard. There's 48 lots that are approximately 1 acre in size. A few months ago, the city was approached by board members about the possibility of connecting to city water. So the subdivision is served by the Wildwood East Mutual Water Company. It's a private groundwater system that's regulated by the State Water Resources Control Board. In 2014, the State Water Resources Control Board implemented a regulation for drinking water to have less than 10 micrograms per liter of hexavalent chromium. The Mutual Water Company's water has consistently tested above the hexavalent chromium limit, and so the state has requested that they come into compliance with their order by 2020. I'd like to introduce, I have Frank Starmer here, who's on the board for Wildwood East Mutual Water Company. So Wildwood East Mutual Water Company hired an engineer to evaluate 5 options to address their hexavalent chromium issue. Option 1 was to have Yuba City provide domestic and irrigation water. Option 2 was for Yuba City to provide domestic water, and they would use their on-site well for irrigation purposes. Option 3 was to blend Yuba City water with the well water to get the hexavalent chromium level down below the acceptable limit. Option 4 was to install an on-site treatment system at the well to reduce the hexavalent chromium, and then option 5 was to treat domestic water at each receiving home. The shareholders selected option 2. And so what we would do is the city would go in and install a water line through the subdivision with meters to each home as well as hydrants on the system. Wildwood East Mutual Water Company would maintain their on-site pipelines to continue to provide irrigation water. So next steps for implementation of the project would be that the city apply for a state revolving fund loan. If they're going to connect to city water, the state requires that the city be the applicant for the loan. We would work to prepare plans and specs and the environmental document, bid projects so we have an idea of what the cost is going to be, use those numbers for the formation of an assessment district to reimburse the city for the SRF loan, construct the project, and process the annexation. So some of those things would take place concurrently, with the end result being that they would need to be annexed before actually receiving city water. The total estimated cost for the project is $2,551,000, which equates to $53,100 per connection. So this is an estimate. These numbers would be revised upon bidding and constructing the project. So the item before you tonight is to approve providing water to the Wildwood East subdivision contingent upon the approval of an SRF loan, annexation to the city and assessment district formation, and then authorize the Public Works Director to prepare and submit an application for an SRF loan to fund the construction of water lines and connection fees. They are requesting to finance the connection fees for the assessment district as well. And so at this point, I'll turn it over to Frank for comments.
Last time I was here, I was a detective and John Buckland was a corporal and Rob Landon was an officer. My, how things have changed. So Diana has been unbelievably accommodating to us and helping us out with our situation as far as hexavalent chromium goes. Wildwood East Mutual Water Company understands that we're going to be paying for this. We've conducted a shareholders vote. 43 of the property owners agreed to annexation and option 2 of our compliance plan. I have since circulated a petition. We are now at 45 homes in agreement with annexation and option 2 of our compliance plan. We don't see much opposition to this plan. The big issues for us is obviously this is very expensive and we're footing the bill, and we understand that's the cost of doing business. A couple things that our attorney Valerie Kincaid has pointed out to us is that the faster we can move this along, obviously, the less expensive it's going to be in relationship to requirements of studies and environmental impact studies, et cetera, et cetera. So we'd really like to get this going as quickly as possible. The other thing is that we are still a water company, and we are still regulated by the Department of Water Resources. And the Department of Water Resources has been very clear with us that they've set timetables that we must stick to, and so and we have to report to them. It's not just a matter of we have progress; it's we're making progress. So I think this is going to work out relatively smooth on our side. We hope to get the same from you folks, and direction from the city, and work together to get this accomplished.
Any members of the council have any questions for Mr. Starmer?
Actually, I have a question for Diana, if I could. Does the, since there will be a separate irrigation water and the domestic water, does that require a backflow protection on the city meters?
Yes.
And that's included in the costs that are
Yes.
presented tonight. All right, thank you.
Through the mayor, I just have another question for Diana. 2 years ago, when we did what is it, Wildwood West, had the residents right now, if they would have hooked up back then, what would have their original cost 2 years ago? I believe it wouldn't have been $53,000, right?
It wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
We were in compliance at the time.
Correct.
We came out of compliance for arsenic after that. We regained compliance. So as far as us hooking in then, it would have been the same now.
Right. Just trying to help you guys out there. And
I
then,
appreciate it. If you want to foot the bill for this, it'd be
yeah,
great.
I don't mean to rub it in. I'm just saying. And then obviously, if it's $53,000, we're applying for a loan, roughly what, 2%? What's our revolving?
It's just under 2%.
Okay, so is everybody, and I don't know, and I'm just tossing this, is everybody going to finance the $53,000, or are some people just willing to pay the cash and say we're done, or are some people going to put this lien on their house and slowly by slowly they can pay it off, or when they sell the house, that lien still stays on the house, right?
Yeah, so we would form an assessment district, so they pay it through their property taxes.
Okay.
They would have the option of paying it off up front, or they would also have the option of paying it off at any time.
And then when that goes down to the line or the loan itself, so when we pay it down, there's no prepayment penalty or anything on it for us. Okay, thank you.
Through the mayor.
Okay.
I have a question on the fire hydrants. Does the current system actually have 5 fire hydrants adequate on it?
Well, the current system has, fire hydrants on it, but it's being fed by the well, so that flow is limited based upon the production from the well. When we install our domestic water line and fire hydrants, the fire department would use the city fire hydrants to fight any fires within the subdivision.
Right. So, so you're saying that the current ones that they already have there would be inadequate to be able to be the supplier for the community, for that community, or not?
They would not have the volume of flow that the city hydrants would have. I wouldn't say that they're inadequate because they're there now and fire could use them, but the city hydrants would have higher flow and a more dependable flow.
Okay.
If there was ever a power outage or something, because I don't believe you guys have a backup generator. Yeah, so
well, you'd be required to have a backup generator for that. But I was just wondering because I thought they had them out there, and when I was at the county, we did do some installation of some rural fire wells, or increased them and put higher horsepower on them. So I was kind of wondering if it would have been actually less expensive to take care of this system to up their dependability, or just going ahead and going on to the city system. So what was the considerations on that?
well, the purpose of this is to treat the hexavalent chromium issue. And so from a fire flow perspective, we need the hydrants to also flush the distribution system. So not only does it help us to fight fires, but it's also necessary to go in and periodically flush the distribution system.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Not, Frank, I think that, as you guys move forward with this process, you have the support of the city. to be able to try to move this project forward as quickly as we possibly can. I know that there will be some constraints on some time. You know, we're relying on the state as part of this and some other issues, but we look forward to bringing your whole community online with city water and welcoming you into the city when that happens, as your neighbors to the west have been welcomed into the city.
So eloquently taken care of.
Yeah. And I will tell you that you know, it's just one more step that you're taking care of to make sure that your neighbors are taken care of. So I thank you for the leadership efforts that you've put forward out there and making sure that their health issues are being addressed as a responsible person for that system. So thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will tell you that you have a valued employee right here in Diana Langley. The assistance and the clarity and transparency that she's given us has been spectacular. And I look forward to working with her and the rest of you guys as we get through this.
All right. Thank you very much. Action from the council.
Through the mayor.
Go ahead.
Recommend approval of the item.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.